Folks, I hope you hung in because we're back, and hopefully this is going to be a better performance. Technically, I don't know if it'll be better performance for me, but technically anyway. Okay. Again, welcome to my home. Thank you for inviting me to yours. Grab your coffee, your tea, a little bit of vino maybe, and we're off and running. I'm just going to give you an overview. We're starting from day one. This is an overview of the future videos that we will be doing. And if you have any questions during this video, feel free to type them in and I'll be happy to answer them. It's going to include fiction, memoir, and nonfiction. I'm Frances Metzman. I've been through the ringer in the publishing world, where I've had 2 novels, a short story collection, and 25 short stories published. I had a lot of difficulty in learning fictional techniques. I would go into gatherings, I would go to workshops, classes, buy books, everything that was needed, and I would just get bits and pieces. I mean, they'd see me walk into a workshop and recognize me, and I could see them roll their eyes and think, oh, here comes the nag again. Well, I didn't give up. I did become a nag. I would ask very pointed, direct questions. How do? You say write a character, understand your character. Well, how do you do that? How do you do it in depth? The answers were very sparse, not direct, and so I decided I'm going to do this on my own. And I did. I wound up putting together my own series, and this is the start of it. Although I do these at universities, at colleges, at workshops, and I do them free. I promised myself that if I had any connection with a writer, they would not have to go through the agony that I went through. So hopefully it's going to work. This video series will be about characters, plotting, dialogue, scenes, sequels, chapters, descriptions, inner narrative setting, use of sentence, use of sense, time and place, tense, point of view, emotions, and flashbacks, and probably more. I have to confess that I went into social media very reluctantly. Even more than that, I was kicking and screaming. But it's a very necessary thing. I actually got to like it. I like connecting with old friends, new friends. I have a platform to expound on my pet peeves or my comments, my thoughts. Whether you want to hear it or not, I could put it out there. But so it's become a lot of fun, but it's also a very necessary thing for writers. Publishing world is all about social media. Many publishers will ask you, how many followers do you have? So it's a different world now. I'm from the world of typewriters, vinyl records. now I have to be high tech or semi high tech, but it's very important for writers. It's kind of demanded, really. This series is for all levels of writers. The beginning writer who wants to write, has not written, I think I can help. The intermediate writer who might have gotten stuck on a plateau of frustration, they can't move forward, they can't move back. I think this video series will also help. And also the advanced writer might just want some rejuvenation, some refreshing, and even maybe doing more publishing. So we'll get into that aspect. I call this the video series, the Frances Metzman Formula for Writing. And you'll excuse the brashness, but it did take blood, sweat, and tears to put it together, and some bucks. And so I'm giving myself a little pat on the back. You can call it anything you want. I just wanted to help. So I've been a sculptor, and I learned a very important lesson in art school, and that was to have a very specific framework If you wanted to do good art, you had to know color, balance, sculpture. You had to know facial structure. You had to understand perspective. You had to understand all the elements before you can really produce good art. And that's what I applied to writing. It's almost applied to any area of life. You want a surgeon to operate on you who doesn't know anatomy? Well, no, neither do I. So let's get on. We're going to have a lot of structure involved here. I think writing is 30% talent, 70% hard work. That's what I base this program on. I'm of the opinion, and some of you might have heard me say this, that if you can verbalize a story, I can help you write it, or you can write it. But this is just to help you along. It's a tool. I'm offering tools. And so I've accumulated a fairly large body of knowledge for fictional techniques. Everyone has a unique story, just about everyone. And it's very hard to get it out without this framework. And so this program is designed to elevate your writing to a higher level. I know you can do it. You guys out there can do it. Confusion, writer's block, aimless editing, stuck even though you have a good idea. This series will show you how to tell it seamlessly. The writing publishing industry is very, very hard to navigate. If you write well and understand the elements that make for good writing, you have a better chance of getting an agent. Many publishers will not look at your work unless you have an agent. You want to send the work to an agent to keep them reading. They can read your first paragraph and never read another word. A little tip, they can read the first sentence and never read another word. So you've got to catch them fast. That's the essence of fictional techniques. You ask why, if I want to write a memoir or a nonfiction, so why do I have to listen to fictional techniques? Well, in this very complicated world of publishing, fictional techniques have become dominant. It's used in nonfiction, it's used for memoirs. Go out and read a memoir, it'll sound just like a fiction. So you've got to know this stuff first, and then you can write your heart out, and everybody's going to love it. I just want to give you a little tip. You can go to my website, francismetzman.com. There's a series of short stories that utilize these fictional techniques, and they do come from my short story collection. But I advise you to look at them, and as we go along, try to dissect the fictional elements that we're talking about. So it's francismetzman.com. You can subscribe. It won't cost you a dime. They're free, and it would be a big help. Also, the next video will be on characterization, and that's a very big part of this. Plot and characterization, scenes and sequels and chapters, they're all primary. So tune in for the next lesson, which will be in 2 weeks. If you have any questions in the interim, and I'd be happy to answer them. I hope you have some questions, statements. No booze. I don't want any booze, but hopefully you will email me, and that's at franuc@aol.com. franuc@aol.com. So I'd be happy. You can write anything. I'd be happy to answer it. And no question is dumb. Every question is important, and I'd be happy to answer them. So I guess I'm going to sign off now. I'll wait for a little bit. Maybe you have a question. I hope you guys stay tuned despite the technical difficulty. And I think this was a lot smoother. So long for now. Send me anything at my email address, franuc@aol.com. Thanks. Now for that little bit of wine. Bye.